Uh-huh. I haven't sung that song. Surprisingly, we don't have the Gregorian chant version of "I'm Trading My Sorrows" yet.
You should show us
Translate that into Latin. Yeah.
Well, the first thing I'll start with just is explain to me, or tell us, how do you know Angela?
Angela and I met and worked together at St. Michael the Archangel in Garland about 9 years ago. I started off as a core member and worked there for a couple of years. While we were there, we became pretty good friends. So I left St. Michael's when I joined the monastery about 6 years ago, and since then we've stayed in touch. We started the Bob and Wow groups together. So when she was, started Women of Wisdom or Worship or whatever the Wow stands for, I was starting Bob at the same time. So I think that's our legacy, at least at St. Michael's, the two of us.
Cool. Well, you just mentioned the word legacy. That's what I'm trying to kind of get your input on here. Is what do you think Angela's impact or effect has been on youth ministry? Do you know from when you work with her, or even knowing her now?
Yeah.
Still, as she's gone?
I think everybody. I think the legacy of Angela in youth ministry won't be known for a really long time, because so much of what we do in the ministry business is develop relationships and introduce people to Christ, and the long-term effects of that we don't see in a year or 2 years. It's 5, 10, 15 years down the road. So I think we do this not for immediate satisfaction, but for something much deeper. Personally, I think Angela, in youth ministry, the goal is to take people where you meet them and introduce them to Christ, and then stand back and watch Christ work in their life. And I know that for me, there's a song in the play Wicked. I'm going to show off my little musical talent. In this song, they say, I don't know if you've changed my life for the better, but you've changed my life for good. When Angela and I met, she jokes that she thought she'd once have to bail me out of jail or something. I was a pretty rough and tumble kind of a guy. And through our friendship and through the work we were doing at St. Michael's, I got to know my faith and I got to know my Lord a lot better. And I don't think I would be in this chair, in this habit, in this monastery, in this priesthood, if Angela and I weren't such good friends. She dramatically changed my life. And it was her friendship and her leadership and her guidance and introducing me to my faith and my Lord. And then, watching what happened, because that's what Christ does. He takes people and he changes them. And it's Angela's job and her legacy is to let people meet Christ. And so for me, that's changed everything. So.
What about the changes in her that you've seen? Like the impact of youth ministry on her as a Christian or as a woman?
Angela and I first hung out a lot at bars. We spent a lot of time down at Milo Butterfingers on Greenville Avenue. And I think over the time, and maybe it's just because now we're much older, but over time, you saw a depth of spirit in Angela, a deepening of maturity, of wisdom. And I would like to think in some way I also have grown in maturity and wisdom, and we spend less time at bars now. But I think there was a seriousness with which Angela took her job over the past few years, that in the first couple of years it was, I think, maybe more fun, and now it's deeper and more profound. I don't really like that answer though.
Okay. Give me another one if you want. It could be something really simple that you see.
Yeah, but it's tough because I haven't seen Angela as much anymore. She now lives in Nebraska or something close to Nebraska, and I live in a monastery, so I haven't seen her as much as I'd like over the past few years. But I do think that with time in ministry, there's been a maturity and a growth in wisdom. and I like to think a deepening of her prayer life. I wish we spent more time together, but I imagine that the Angela 8 or 9 years ago during adoration at a retreat would be very concerned about what's happening next, and making sure all the organizations were operating smoothly, and that the priest was going to come back out at the right time, and the mic levels were correct, and that all. And now I like to believe that it's now more about the prayer, and trusting in the Lord to do the right things. But as I said, I don't see her as much anymore. Busyness and time and separation and a cloister tend to do that to people.
Yeah, she often tells me that too, how much she misses just being able to hang out with you, because it's
I'm a pretty fun guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're one of her favorite people actually to hang out with, and I think there's a bittersweet. I mean, she's so proud of you, but at the same time, she's like, because of the path you've taken, she doesn't get to see you, so
Right.
she expresses that a lot.
Right.
Okay, I thought those were very good answers. We are doing a little tribute to Trading My Sorrows because it is her least favorite.
Are you sure? Because there's the Alleluia. Well, maybe that's just my least favorite thing on the face of the planet.
Well, I would say it's the least favorite for being overused.
Oh, sure. Okay.
So
All right.
I have had people, I'm just having you lip sync, so to speak, to do the actions. And it's not going to be using you the whole time. It's going to be little bits and pieces.
Sure.
And I had Naomi introduce it seriously, like it is her favorite song. I think I'm going to have you do the part where, because at some point I'm going to cut it, and we're going to go, make that sound like, wait a minute, this isn't her favorite song. I think this is her least favorite song. Could you do that for me?
And I'm deadpanning?
You're deadpanning.
Okay.
So
I'm not making the sound effect, aren't I?
I'll make the sound
Okay.
effect, so you can look right in the camera.
Wait a second. Is Trading Your Sorrows her... Wait.
Take two.
Wait a second. Is I'm Trading My Sorrows Angela's real favorite song? I don't think so.
Now will you sing along to it?
Hopefully it'll play really loud. Come on, flip around. Can you hear it?
Barely.
Barely. Best part.
Lord, yes, yes, Lord. Yes, Lord, yes, Lord, yes, yes, Lord. Yes, Lord, yes, Lord, yes, yes, Lord.
Okay, that should do it.
Man, do I hate that song. I was at